There is no other character on The Bold and the Beautiful who stirs the pot quite like Brooke Logan does. The complicated world of The Bold and the Beautiful is always simmering with tensions. Brooke has never been one to shy away from drama. She is fearless, unrepentant, and fiercely protective of her family with a ferocious protectiveness. The tension that exists between Brooke and the people who are in her immediate vicinity reaches a fever pitch over the course of the following weeks, culminating in a series of confrontations that shake the lives of the Forresters, Logans, and Spencers. The fact that Brooke is unable to stay in her lane is not something that longtime watchers are surprised by. Throughout her life, she has spent a significant amount of time negotiating difficult relationships, battling for affection, and expressing her authority within a family that is filled with strong personalities. On the other hand, as the most recent drama plays out, Brooke realizes that she is more involved than ever before in the lives of the people she loves about, as well as those she can't help but interfere with. It doesn't matter if it's her constant competition with Taylor Hayes, her turbulent relationship with Ridge Forrester, or her intense dedication to her children. The decisions that Brooke takes in the next episodes will have far-reaching effects. This is a creative and in-depth look at the forthcoming spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful. The focus of this look is on how Brooke's inability to stay in her lane will lead to heated confrontations and shifting allegiances. As the plot develops, Brooke discovers that her feelings of insecurity are becoming more and more overwhelming. It is difficult for Brooke to shake the feeling that something is wrong with her relationship with Ridge, despite the fact that it appears to be steady on the surface. Despite the fact that Taylor Hayes has recently re-entered Ridge's orbit, her long-standing feud with Taylor Hayes continues to torment her. Despite Ridge's assurances, Brooke's jealousy flares up at even the least sign of competition. She is well aware of how easily Ridge's affections can waver, and she cannot contain her feelings of resentment. During the beginning of the episode, Brooke is shown walking around her living room, her thoughts racing with anxiety. No matter how hard she tries, she is unable to stop thinking about Ridge and Taylor. She makes an effort to concentrate on other things, such as her profession and her family, but she is unable to do so. She has a flashback to the several times in the past that Ridge has abandoned her in favor of Taylor, and the wounds that those betrayals have left behind are as raw as they were when they occurred. Hope Logan, Brooke's daughter, walks into the room as she takes in the distress that her mother is experiencing. As Hope takes a seat next to her mother, she whispers in a soft voice, "Mom, you've been stressed out all morning. What's going on?" "It's Ridge," Brooke finally admits after a little period of hesitation when she finally does so. "The thought of him and Taylor keeps running through my head." In the background, she is constantly present, waiting for him to come running back to her. She is always there. I have no doubt that she will go to any lengths necessary to acquire him. Hope looks at her mother with a compassionate expression. "It is incredible how much you and Ridge have been through, Mom. Both of you have always managed to find your way back to one another. Why should you be concerned now?" Brooke, however, shakes her head, demonstrating that her insecurity has gotten the better of her. "That is the issue of concern, Hope. In spite of the fact that we constantly find our way back to each other, it is a circle that keeps occurring over and over again. Additionally, Taylor is a part of that cycle each and every time. I've had enough of it. The only thing I want is for it to be over with." It is evident that Brooke's concerns are not completely without basis. Yet, the fact that she is unable to trust Ridge, or anyone else for that matter, causes her to proceed down a path that is fraught with peril. Her resolve to prevent Taylor from entering Ridge's life starts to overwhelm her, and it is only a matter of time before she lashes out at Ridge. Upon discovering that Ridge has been spending more time with Taylor, allegedly to discuss topics pertaining to their children, Brooke's paranoia reaches new heights. Ridge has been spending more time with Taylor. Brooke is not convinced by Ridge's assertion that his connection with Taylor is purely platonic, despite Ridge's assurances to the contrary. As a result of her determination to put an end to what she perceives to be Taylor's repeated interference, she makes the decision to approach Taylor directly. Brooke shows up at Forrester Creations without prior notice, which is where the scene takes place. Taylor is taken aback by her appearance, but she manages to keep her cool despite the fact that she is in the midst of a meeting with Ridge. Ridge, who is aware of the tension, makes an effort to alleviate the situation by leaving the room and allowing the two women to discuss the matter in private. "Brooke, what's going on?" Taylor inquires in a tone that is measured yet apprehensive. In a hurry to get to the point, Brooke does not spend any time. "You have a complete understanding of the situation, Taylor. I'm going to make it impossible for you to get back into Ridge's life, even though you're trying to do so deliberately." Taylor lets out a sigh, obviously expressing her exasperation at hearing yet another round of this dispute. "I'm not trying to worm my way into anything, Brooke. I promise you that. Together with Ridge, I am a co-parent. Together, we are parents to children. It is inevitable that we will be in each other's lives forever." Brooke, however, is not content with this explanation being provided. "The number of times I've witnessed this is excessive, Taylor. It is never simply about the children, despite the fact that you always say it is. Ridge is something you want, and you are willing to do anything to get him back." As a result of both women maintaining their position, the tension in the room continues to rise. Even though Taylor is the calm and sensible alternative to Brooke's fiery disposition, she is unable to help but bristle when Brooke makes charges. Despite her best efforts, Taylor is unable to hold her cool. "Brooke, I am not the target of this conflict. You are in a relationship with Ridge. What a victory! I'm not trying to steal him away from you in any way." With that being said, Brooke is adamant about not letting go of her mistrust. "I won't put my faith in you, Taylor. You've had a deep affection for Ridge from the beginning, and I'm sure you're simply waiting for the right opportunity to make your move." Taylor, who is becoming increasingly irritated, does not hold back. "Brooke, do you know what to do? It's possible that I'm not the biggest issue here. It's be that the true issue is that you don't have faith in Ridge. If it were the case, you wouldn't feel as threatened by this person." Brooke is taken aback by Taylor's statements, but rather than retreating, she becomes even more resolute in her stance. "My faith is in Ridge. The person I do not trust is you." A furious confrontation rapidly develops between the two women as they trade insults over their convoluted history with Ridge. The situation swiftly spins out of control. The fact that this competition, which has been going on for decades, is not yet over is made very evident. In the meantime, Ridge is grappling with the dilemma of being torn between two women who hold a significant place in his heart, both of whom are pushing him in opposite directions. On the one hand, there is Brooke, his wife and the woman with whom he has had a turbulent but intense relationship for many years before they got married. On the other hand, there is Taylor, who is the mother of his children and someone who has always understood him in a manner that Brooke sometimes finds difficult to comprehend. Ridge is experiencing a growing sense of internal conflict as the tension that previously existed between Brooke and Taylor continues to escalate. Although he has feelings for Brooke, he is beginning to resent her because of her persistent need for reassurance and her jealousy. However, it is impossible to deny the fact that he has a strong connection with Taylor, and whenever he is in her presence, he cannot help but experience feelings of melancholy. In a private talk with Eric Forrester, who is his closest friend and confidant, Ridge explains that he is experiencing conflicting emotions. In an expression of exasperation, he exclaims, "I love Brooke," while running his hand through his hair. On the other hand, she is consistently so reserved when it comes to Taylor. It is a full-time job. Being the voice of reason that he is, Eric takes the time to listen carefully before delivering his counsel. There has never been a time when Ridge has not been caught between these two women. Despite the fact that it is not an easy circumstance, you need to figure out what it is that you truly desire. Do you want to spend the rest of your life with Brooke, or are you still trying to maintain a relationship with Taylor? Clearly conflicted, Ridge lets out a sigh. "It's hard for me to say. My wife is Brooke, but Taylor, there is a history between the two of them. However, it is difficult to ignore." One of Eric's eyebrows is raised. It is one thing to deal with the past, but what about the future? Who do you envision yourself spending the rest of your life with? Ridge does not have a fast response, and the fact that he does not know simply adds to the tension that is already building up. During the time that he is considering his next step, He is aware that the choice that he ultimately makes will have long-term repercussions for all of the individuals involved. In the fourth act, Brooke blows her horn at Hope and Liam. Brooke's dissatisfaction quickly seeps into her relationships with her children, notably Hope and Liam, as if her quarrel with Taylor wasn't enough to frustrate her in the first place. Her escalating fear over Ridge and Taylor causes her to lash out in ways that alienate even those who are closest to her, despite the fact that Brooke has always been quite protective of Hope. In the beginning of the trouble, Brooke overhears a talk between Hope and Liam about the difficulties they are experiencing in their own marriage. Hope is concerned about their connection, particularly in light of the continuous drama that has been going on between Steffy Forrester and Finn, which has generated stress in her marriage to Liam. In spite of the fact that Liam has assured Hope that he is committed to her, Brooke is unable to refrain from intervening since she is certain that Steffy continues to pose a risk to her daughter's happiness. Brooke gives Hope the advice, "Hope, you need to put your foot down with Liam," and her tone is clear and direct. You can't let him keep running back to Steffy every time there's a problem. Hope, who is taken aback by her mother's unexpected intrusion, makes an effort to keep her composure but is unsuccessful. Liam and I are working through the issues that we are facing. Despite the fact that it is difficult, we are managing it. When it comes to this remark, however, Brooke is not content. No matter how complicated things are, Hope, you deserve better. Throughout your whole life, you have consistently prioritized the requirements of others over your own. And I will not allow Steffy to destroy your marriage. Liam, who had been listening in silence, finally does say something, and it is clear that he is feeling frustrated. I am grateful to you, Brooke, for looking out for Hope. Nevertheless, this is something that is between the two of us. We do not require your participation at this time. However, Brooke, who is unable to bring herself to stop, continues to compel. It is not necessary for me to get involved, is it? Liam, my daughter, is the one I am attempting to shield. The way that Steffy manipulates you is something that I have witnessed, and I am not going to allow her to get away with it. Hope is making an effort to soothe her mother down, which causes the tension in the room to increase. Mom, if you must, this is not going to help. On the other hand, Brooke is too wound up to pull back. The only reason I am telling you this, Hope, is because I care about you. Someone who is continuously looking over his shoulder at another woman is not someone you should be with. You need to be with someone who is entirely dedicated to you completely. Even while she has good intentions, her words just serve to intensify the tension that already exists in her relationship with Hope and Liam. Even though Hope adores her mother, she is beginning to experience feelings of suffocation as a result of Brooke's persistent meddling. As for Liam, his tolerance with Brooke is wearing thin, particularly because her claims about his love for Steffy touch a little too close to home. Brooke's accusations have hit a little too close to home. Brooke's interference, which continues to spiral out of control, eventually results in a major fight between her and Ridge. Ridge is the one who is involved. The conflict, which has been building up between them for several weeks, is the conclusion of all the tension that has been building up between them, particularly with regard to Taylor. When Ridge confronts Brooke about her recent conduct, namely her attempts to build a gap between him and Taylor, everything comes to a head. Brooke's actions have been all over the place. He makes an effort to address the matter in a calm manner, yet it quickly becomes a full-blown quarrel despite his efforts. Ridge utters the words, "Brooke, I love you, but you need to stop," with his clear irritation in his voice. You cannot continue to attempt to exert control over everything. Due to the fact that we both have children, Taylor and I will continue to be a part of one another's life. It is necessary for you to acknowledge that. Despite the fact that Brooke's insecurities are boiling to the surface, she decides not to back down. Ridge, I am aware of what is taking place. I know Taylor, but you say it's about the children. I know her. There is no way that she will ever stop waiting in the wings, hoping that you would eventually return to her. Ridge appears to be beyond exasperation as he shakes his head. This has nothing to do with Taylor. This is about the fact that you do not trust me. You are so distracted with envy that you are attempting to distance yourself from me. Brooke retaliates, her voice rising with the intensity of her feelings. I have faith in you, Ridge, but I do not have faith in her. It is not going to happen again that I will allow her to come between us. As the dispute continues to grow, Ridge and Brooke each say things that they would later come to regret about their earlier statements. In the heat of the moment, Ridge reveals that he has been experiencing feelings of suffocation as a result of Brooke's persistent need for reassurance. This is a revelation that Brooke wishes she could admit, but it hurts more than she is willing to admit. Ridge's voice is filled with fury as he delivers the following statement. "You're pushing me away, Brooke. Please give me some room to breathe. I require your confidence in me." But rather than retreating, Brooke digs her heels in and refuses to back down. "Maybe if you gave me a reason to trust you, I wouldn't feel this way." Both Brooke and Ridge are left in a state of disbelief as a result of this harrowing experience. At the moment that Ridge rushes out of the room, it becomes very evident that their relationship is on the verge of experiencing a catastrophic event. In Act 6, Brooke is confronted with the repercussions of her actions. Following the altercation that she had with Ridge, Brooke is now forced to deal with the repercussions that her actions have brought about. Despite the fact that she makes an effort to persuade herself that her actions were appropriate, she is aware, on a more fundamental level, that she has been acting out of uncertainty and dread. In addition to the fact that her interference in Hope and Liam's marriage has only served to further alienate her daughter, her relationship with Ridge is currently on the verge of disintegration. Even her closest allies, such as Eric and Donna, are beginning to have doubts about her recent behavior. The more Brooke thinks about all that has transpired, the more she comes to the realization that her inability to stay in her lane has only resulted in more negative consequences than positive ones. It remains to be seen, however, whether or not she will be able to repair the harm that she has caused. The choices that Brooke takes on The Bold and the Beautiful will have far-reaching implications for everyone who is in her immediate vicinity as the show continues to progress. The connection that she has with Ridge is in a precarious state, and the fact that she interfered in the marriage of Hope and Liam has produced a split between her and her daughter. In the meantime, her ongoing conflict with Taylor shows no signs of abating, and it is quite evident that this rivalry will continue to be a source of drama for many weeks to come. Do you think Brooke will be able to save her relationships, or do you think she has gone too far this time? The only thing that can be said with absolute certainty is that in the world of The Bold and the Beautiful, nothing is ever straightforward, and the consequences of Brooke's actions will continue to reverberate for a considerable amount of time, despite the passage of time.